Baby One More Time, starting with the album that launched 1,000 schoolgirl outfits. Baby One More Time was released January 12, 1999. This was Britney's debut studio album, which completely changed the pop landscape. Britney was just 16 when she started recording this. She was a small-town girl from Louisiana, stepping into the spotlight, blending innocence with budding stardom in the late 90s teen pop boom.
All of a sudden, pop music just comes like it's full force. I'm just happy that I'm able to do that.
It was her big break, introducing her as a fresh-faced teen idol. The album is filled with teen pop, dance pop, and sweet mid-tempos that really showed off her voice and youthful charm. Of course, the title track was the game changer. Baby One More Time wasn't just a hit, it became one of the best-selling singles of all time, selling over 10 million copies worldwide. The lyrics about longing for an ex connected with millions of young listeners. The follow-up single, Sometimes, showed a completely different side of Britney. Instead of high-energy dance beats, it was a tender ballad about love, vulnerability, and needing space. With its Eurodance rhythm and heartfelt lyrics, it proved she wasn't just a performer of bubblegum tunes. She could handle softer, emotional material just as well. Songs like Born to Make You Happy and You Drive Me Crazy gave the album even more variety, balancing playful energy with heartfelt ballads. The album's impact was massive. Baby One More Time sold over 25 million copies worldwide, was certified 14 times platinum in the US, and made Britney the best-selling teenage artist in history at the time. It earned Grammy nominations, influenced fashion trends, and set the stage for the kinds of music videos that would define pop for years to come. Oops, I Did It Again. After the runaway success of Baby One More Time, all eyes were on Britney Spears to see if she could do it again. The pressure was massive, but she rose to the challenge. Released on May 3, 2000, Oops, I Did It Again doubled down on everything that made her debut a smash, while also leaning into funk, R&B, and a slightly more mature sound. Britney herself admitted it wasn't a forced reinvention. It just came naturally with her growing up. The title track, Oops, I Did It Again, became another career-defining single. With its playful bass line, punchy synths, and unforgettable hook, I'm Not That Innocent. It established Britney as the queen of the teen pop era. The song even featured a cheeky spoken word break referencing Titanic, showing off her sense of humor in the middle of a massive pop banger. The album wasn't just about the big single, though. Stronger gave Britney one of her most empowering anthems with its declaration of independence and the memorable line, "My loneliness ain't killing me no more." The balance of upbeat tracks and power ballads made it clear Britney was expanding her sound, even as she kept the bubblegum pop roots her fans loved. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with 1.3 million first-week sales, a record for a female artist that stood until 2015. Around the world, it entered the charts at number 1 in over 20 countries, eventually selling more than 20 million copies worldwide. In the US, it was certified diamond, and it even earned Britney her second Grammy nomination, this time for Best Pop Vocal Album. Oops, I Did It Again showed Britney was here to stay. With record-breaking sales, iconic singles, and global influence, she was well on her way to becoming one of the biggest pop stars of her generation. Britney. By the time her third studio album, Britney, was released on October 31, 2001, she was no longer just the teen pop princess. She was starting to grow up in front of the world. The record mixed pop and R&B with splashes of disco, hip-hop, rock, and electronica. Lyrically, it leaned into themes of adulthood, control, and sexuality. More than anything, it marked her transition from teen idol to young woman, experimenting with a more provocative image and sound. The lead single, I'm a Slave for You, became the symbol of this shift. Britney unveiled it at the 2001 MTV VMAs in a now legendary performance, dancing with a live python draped across her shoulders. The track blended urban beats with Middle Eastern influences, and its sultry video left no doubt she was moving beyond the bubblegum image of her early hits. The second single, Overprotected, was a Europop anthem about carving out independence. Britney sings about being tired of people telling her what to do, with lyrics like, I need to make mistakes just to learn who I am, and I don't want to be so damn protected. It was seen as a direct reflection of her life as a teen star, where both her career and personal decisions were tightly controlled. Meanwhile, Lonely offered a teenage version of heartbreak and resilience as she moved on from a romance defined by lies and manipulation. Commercially, Britney was another triumph. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with over 745,000 first-week sales, making her the first female artist in history to have her first 3 albums debut at the top of the chart. In the Zone. In the Zone, released on November 18, 2003, marked a bold new chapter for Britney Spears. Coming off her breakup with Justin Timberlake and a short break from music, Britney was ready to make a mature pivot. She started writing songs on tour in 2002, often scribbling ideas backstage, and later described the process as trusting her own instincts more than ever before. The result was her most personal record, one that tackled themes of romance, partying, sex, heartbreak, even self-pleasure, all while introducing a darker, club-driven sound. In the Zone was a departure from her earlier pop formula. The album kicked off with Me Against the Music, a high-energy duet with Madonna. The song played like a battle on the dance floor, and its music video featuring Madonna pulling Britney into a seductive chase through a nightclub signaled a passing of the torch between 2 pop icons. But it was Toxic that truly defined the album. A daring, addictive track about being hooked on a dangerous lover. It became one of Britney's signature hits. The cinematic music video, with Britney as a spy in a red wig and later shimmering in diamonds, remains one of her most iconic moments. Toxic went on to win Britney her first Grammy Award for Best Dance Recording in 2005. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, making Britney the youngest female artist at the time to have 4 consecutive albums debut at the top. It went on to sell over 10 million copies worldwide and was certified triple platinum in the US. For many fans, In the Zone is Britney's true-grown album, the one where she left the teen pop world behind and embraced a sound and image that were riskier, edgier, and fully her own. Blackout. Released on October 25, 2007, Blackout is often remembered as Britney Spears' most daring and forward-thinking album. Britney herself described it simply. She wanted an album that was fun, high energy, and about feeling good, a celebration of womanhood without overthinking it. Musically, Blackout was a shift into darker, more futuristic territory. Built on dance pop, electropop, and techno with touches of R&B and avant disco, it was packed with thick electronic beats, heavy bass lines, and sharp hooks. The opener, Gimme More, set the tone immediately. Sultry, hypnotic, and unapologetically bold. But behind the music, Blackout was anything but a normal album. Released in the middle of Britney's very public struggles, it came at a time when she shaved her head, endured intense paparazzi harassment, and was visibly unraveling in front of the world. Her 2007 MTV VMA performance of Gimme More, where she appeared dazed and out of sync, became infamous, exposing just how unwell she was, while the industry pressed forward with the album rollout anyway. That's what makes songs like Piece of Me so haunting in hindsight. Stripped apart, its lyrics sound like a cry for help, snarling at the paparazzi, the industry, and even fans. Listening today, you can feel the tension between the glossy production and the pain of the person at the center of it all. Its music video, which directly mocked the paparazzi and media circus, swept the 2008 MTV Video Music Awards, winning Best Female Video, Best Pop Video, and Video of the Year.
Best female video.
Best pop video is
Britney Spears.
Blackout feels like Britney at her most fearless. Still, it's impossible to separate the music from the moment. A brilliant, innovative record that came out of one of the darkest chapters of her life. Circus. Circus dropped on December 2nd, 2008, Britney's 27th birthday, and was widely seen as her comeback. After the darker, experimental sounds of Blackout and a year of very public struggles that led to her conservatorship, Britney set out to make something lighter, more polished, and performance-ready. Recorded between March and September of 2008, the album leaned into electropop and dance pop with big, radio-friendly hooks. The lead single, Womanizer, was a fiery anthem that called out manipulative men, and it shot straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, her first U.S. chart topper since Baby One More Time. The title track, Circus, kept that momentum going, opening with a stompbox beat and building into a confident, up-tempo track. Britney delivered half-rapped vocals over shimmering synths, singing, "I feel the adrenaline moving through my veins, spotlight on me, and I'm ready to break." The lyrics captured her emotions as a performer, comparing the intensity of being on stage to stepping into the center ring of a circus. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with over 505,000 first-week sales, becoming her 5th chart-topping record. It went on to be certified triple platinum in the US and was supported by the Circus Starring Britney Spears tour, one of the biggest tours of 2009. Looking back, Circus was fresh, stylish, and visually iconic, from the album's photography to its blockbuster tour. But beneath the star, it shed light on the darker side of the industry. Britney wasn't her old bubbly self, and at times it felt like she was moving on autopilot, doing what was expected of her rather than what she truly wanted. Femme Fatale. Femme Fatale dropped on March 25, 2011, marking Britney's 7th studio album and her final release under Jive Records. By this point, she was well into her second decade as a pop star, and this album leaned fully into the EDM wave that was dominating clubs and radio. Built on electronic sounds, heavy drops, and polished vocal processing, it was a straight-up party record. The lead single, Hold It Against Me, exploded onto the scene, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with its industrial beats and cheeky pickup line chorus.
Would you hold it against me?
It set the tone for the album, futuristic, robotic, and built for the dance floor. Britney scored 3 top 10 hits from this record, Hold It Against Me, Till the World Ends, and I Wanna Go, making it the first album of her career to pull that off. However, people were split on the album. Some dismissed it as her most generic project, packed with meaningless lyrics and overprocessed vocals. Others praised the creative production and experimental vocal effects that pushed her sound into new territory. Tracks like Drop Dead Beautiful leaned into robotic distortion, Seal It With a Kiss gave her vocals a sweeter processed edge, and Inside Out layered her voice with mysterious pitching that turned it into a fan favorite. The heavy use of autotune and effects may have distanced Britney's natural voice, but for many fans, that was part of the charm. Robotic Britney became its own aesthetic. The album debuted at number 1 in the US and across several countries, later going platinum. For some, it lacked the personal touch of her earlier work, but for others, it was Britney at her most carefree. It became pure nostalgia, the sound of millennial nights out, neon lights, and music on repeat. Britney Jean. Britney Jean was released on November 29, 2013 as Britney's 8th studio album and her first under RCA Records. Marketed as her most personal record, it was recorded in the wake of her breakup with fiancé Jason Trawick and during her conservatorship. On paper, it was supposed to explore themes of heartbreak, loneliness, and growth. In reality, it struggled to live up to that promise. The album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 with 107,000 first-week sales, her lowest chart position and sales for a studio record in the US. Despite the marketing, many felt it sounded impersonal, as it was weighed down by dated EDM trends and the heavy hand of executive producer will.i.am. The track Work Bitch aimed for empowerment but leaned more on flashy imagery than sincerity. Then there's Perfume, where she tries to come across as upset that her boyfriend is seeing someone else, but the odd lyrical choices and her limited range don't exactly make it convincing. At times, she even sounds almost attached. And Passenger, with its lyrics about never having been a passenger before, felt disingenuous given Britney's career and life under such tight control for over a decade. Still, there were moments where Britney's voice hinted at something more raw. Tracks like Don't Cry showed glimpses of the personal record she had promised. Looking back, Britney Jean is often seen as her weakest album, not because she didn't try, but because it felt disconnected from who she really was. Glory. Released on August 26, 2016, Glory is Britney's 9th and final studio album, and the first in years that truly felt like hers. She had more creative control this time, even earning credits as a writer, and she said herself that she's proud of the album. You can hear that spark return, with tracks like Invitation and Make Me carrying an intimacy and confidence that had been missing. Slumber Party became a fan favorite, the kind of playful, sexy pop Britney always excelled at. Britney has often spoken about periods in her life reflected through her albums. In the Zone as her coming into her own, Blackout as her fight back against constant criticism, and Glory as her declaration, I am not what you say I am. I'm a singer, a musician, a performer, and a songwriter, and you can't take that away from me. Around this time, her brother Brian stepped in for her father within the conservatorship, and Britney clearly felt she had a bit more freedom. Many now look back on Glory as the start of her push to reclaim control, years before the legal fight ended in 2021. Polished yet personal, Glory was praised as her most mature work since In the Zone. Chart positions aside, the album resonated because it sounded like Britney making music on her own terms again. If this truly is her final album, it stands as a proud closing chapter.